Grand Rising, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everyone.
And we are back.
Welcome back, guys.
We are doing live stream Q&A stuff today. No podcast for you. No podcast for you.
Easy brain stuff.
Easy brain stuff. Today we are going to try to answer your questions with love and compassion. Do some helpful stuff. I'm having a really good day today.
I'm glad.
I know that you're still processing the last few days of life and you're trying to get back into the groove of things, but
well, this last week has been a lot.
I know.
Last week was not a good week for you, and I'm
no,
still
it wasn't.
dealing with that inside of me.
Yeah. We are. I'm losing weight.
You are.
When I took my shirt off today and had you come in there and take that picture for the tattoo that needs covered, I realized that everything looks smaller, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is great."
Yeah.
And it was probably the first time in maybe 6 or 7 months that I didn't feel weird about having my shirt off.
I love that.
Yeah, it was a really good moment for me.
I love that, babe.
Almost finished chapter 4 of the new book. That's exciting. Talked to Zach yesterday. He's going to start recording. You already know this. This is for them. He's going to start recording the audiobook so that he has the file ready to go. And then we are going to play it. And then he's going to interact with me so that we have the audiobook podcast style thing with the Q&A aspect on it. That way we can do that.
I love
as well.
that.
So
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Yep. I'm excited about it. So we're here for your guys' entertainment. Darren on Facebook said, "I would love to talk with you guys about my girlfriend. We love you guys. You're an inspiration for couples. Send us an email, tobetterco@gmail.com. tobetterco@gmail.com. The women's book is getting me."
Yeah.
What's the women's book?
So for my Women's Thrive group this month, we are reading It Didn't Start With You. And then for my Sacred Sisters group, that is Let Them Theory.
Yeah, Let Them is so good. Let Them is so good. I'm reading a book right now in the men's group. I think it's called Level Up. I gotta look.
Is that the one you sent me this morning? No, you just said for your men's group.
It's called Go Higher by Big Sean. No, the one that I sent you this morning is called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. That's going to be the next book that I get into. I'm almost done with this Go Higher book. I've only got 2 hours left. In that book, though, he was talking about how, I don't know who Big Sean is. He's obviously a famous rapper and a very rich man. I've never heard of him, and if I've heard his music, I don't know who he is. So, but I'm listening to this book because it was recommended at the end of another book that I listened to, and I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go. I've got credits, I'm gonna burn them, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about how he started rapping at 11 years old and became a DJ in middle school and started trying to build his career, and ended up being able to meet Kanye West at a radio station. And when he met Kanye West and he was able to perform for Kanye right there on the spot, he had over 50 raps in his head that was ready to go.
Wow.
And he was like, people think that I just ran into Kanye and got signed. And he's like, that's not how it worked. When you look at my life, everything was preparation for that moment. So when I got there, I was fucking prepared. He was like, I was nervous, but I had everything on the line. He's like, and I asked myself, what's the best that could happen? And we've said that.
Yeah.
So many people get caught up in what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? The worst that can happen is to say no, whatever. That automatically puts you in a negative mind space. And that having that positive, everything that I have done to this up until this moment was to prepare me for right fucking now. He did the thing and he ended up getting signed and he got to hang out with Kanye West and he did a whole lot of cool shit because of it. And it was pretty cool to read. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work and preparation so that when opportunity knocks, you're able to respond. And that solidified that for me. So
I love that.
Safa said, I love that for Chris. I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in 15 years. Came down from 250, actually listening to old podcasts in the gym. I love that. Podcast time and audiobook. When I listen to podcasts, it was usually while I was on a treadmill. And being that I'm not treadmilling anymore, and when we do cardio, we walk together and talk. I don't listen to podcasts the way I used to. Excuse me. That was very gross. I apologize. Cam Jam said, can you guys give examples of how to set boundaries around people you feel walk on you in work environments? Been working on my boundaries, and one of my issues is that I don't want to be sassy. So you are correlating having a boundary with having an attitude, and that's not the same thing.
I agree with that.
I would need examples of what's happening in the work environments to tell you how to set those boundaries. But if you think that having a boundary has to come with an attitude attached, you're wrong. You can be very polite and cordial and just be like, hey, this is not something I'm comfortable with. What you just said or did was wrong. Maybe you have a boss that's touched your lower back. It's inappropriate as fuck. And that's what you're trying to address. Hey, I don't like the physical contact. Can you please not touch me? In that situation, you can be like, look, I know that you were just trying to move me past you. I have trauma. I don't like being touched. I would prefer it moving forward if you keep your hands to yourself. It doesn't have to be a nasty thing. And if they get shitty about it, be like, look, I'm not trying to attack you.
Right.
I'm trying to protect my mental sanity. And if you're not okay with that, you have a bigger problem than simply touching people who don't want to be touched. Scrolling. All right. How can I be supportive of him and ease his stress some? We would need a whole lot more information as to what's going on in that one, guys. You guys should know your partner, right? You guys should know the ins and outs of your relationship. I watched The Good Wives this morning while I was writing my book.
Yeah.
I listened. And like you walked out and I was like, hey, you're really fucking smart, because you had said a whole bunch of shit. And it was things that you have picked up in our relationship that served me in a way that I didn't know that I needed served, but hearing you say it, and I can't remember exactly what it was, I was like, no, she totally nailed that. Like, that's absolutely correct. I do need all of that in those moments when I'm doing whatever it is that's happening. And like, that is simply observing and being in tune with the person that you love and live with. So you know what your person's going through. You know the things that are stressing them out, especially if there's somebody like me who audibly word vomits to process. So Carrie Ann said, how do I stop carrying guilt for everything going on when it's out of my control? By realizing it's out of your control. Amber said, does anyone else have ads pop up, or is it just me? You're going to have ads. We're live. It's public live. It's not Patreon. Yep. And it's on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, I know I pay for YouTube, so I was like, what the heck? I don't pay, so I don't get ads. I wasn't sure if I was. Yeah, if you do pay for YouTube, you shouldn't be getting ads. Scrolling down. Question for Chris: will there be live call-ins for the VOTB channel? I don't know. I honestly don't know. There will be a premiere tonight at 7:00 p.m. of the Voice of the Broken that was just recorded on Monday. Patreon has already watched it. It's got a lot of great feedback. It's the first time that I've had a co-host for that. Deadeye Two Tongues came through and we did the thing, and it was great. If we ever did do call-ins for Voice of the Broken, I would have to find ways to screen the callers ahead of time. Ahead of time. Figure out how to make all of that work so that we're not being blindsided by shit, and still try to keep the podcast in a short segment. Like, I don't want to be over an hour and a half on those. I don't know. I would rather do call-ins for our Patreon, if I'm being honest.
I agree with that.
And I got to be honest, I don't care if it's for Voice of the Broken or whatever, but if people are on our Patreon and want to talk to us, we can do that during our lives for Patreon. I would much rather do that. Yeah. Jay said it was a great episode. Jay, I gave you credit earlier when somebody said that Deadeye was a great co-host. And I said, well, that's Jay's doing, because he gave up his spot he sent me a text message and was like, hey, I know we've been talking about me co-hosting, but he's a great fit. You should try. And then when I mentioned it to Deadeye, he laughed and said he was down. So
yeah.
What if your husband of almost a decade had extreme anger issues when we first met, and hurt you physically a lot in the beginning of the relationship, but I stayed, and I'm still staying, but I hold resentment for it. You chose to stay. Regardless of what happened. If he's not doing the shit now, and he's grown and he's evolved and he's changed and he's worked on his anger, you made the decision to stay there. You have to let that go. Especially if he's changed. If he's still doing the same shit he was doing, you should leave. But let it go, guys. The idea of holding on to anger and frustration from a decade ago and letting it ruin your life and disrupt the happiness that you could be having in your day to day You are self-sabotaging your own existence. It's wild to me. Chaos One said, I'm sorry, Chosen One. I just started listening to this channel. I've seen clips before, but now I'm binging every episode. My brain is full of childhood trauma that I compartmentalize very well, but I'm breaking the chains. I love that. Good for you.
Good for you.
That's awesome. It's good to see that people find our clips and actually go and find the podcast, because I truly believe with the way that we clip our content, they do it because what we said bothered them.
Yeah.
And they want to know why. Like, and that's that they're coming here to get the either the deep dive to find out if they really have a reason to be offended by whatever just happened. And if they do still have a reason to be offended by what just happened, I mean, I'm sorry about that, but hopefully you hear the whole story and be like, okay, that totally makes sense. Now I need to figure out why. Yeah. Yeah. Robert said, good morning. My wife and I love your show. I can't stay and watch, but have a great day. Well, thank you for that, Robert. That was very polite and nice. We appreciate that. If you guys want to make sure that your comments are read, make sure that you send super chats. We will 100% be answering super chats. Ranton Lonkiats, Chris, you lucky mofo. Big respect. What's the luck? Can you elaborate on that? Because I would love to have a discussion about my luck. Does that work for infidelity? How do you get past it? It can. If you choose to, okay. There are people out there who will not be able to overcome infidelity. Once that trust is broken, you're not going to get it back. There's the people who will die on that hill. Then there are people who, like the guy who wrote the book, Worthy of Her Trust, who after a decade of healing his marriage has the best marriage he's ever had. And it came from all of the work that had to be done after he cheated. Mm-hmm. If you are going to decide to stay and work through all the problems that you had in the relationship, including the infidelity, you have to let that go. That doesn't mean that you have to blindly trust your person. That would be foolish, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So if they do it once and you catch them and things are ready to dissipate and you decide that you want to try to make things work, there needs to be guidelines set up, passwords to emails, phones, weekly check-ins, and a whole lot of things that are going to have to happen again so that you can start repairing that broken trust. The reality is that broken trust will never look like it did before it was ruptured. It just won't. You can put it back together, but you'll still see those cracks. And there's going to be times that those cracks are going to come up and it's going to be, hey, I just made me think about the time that you did this thing, and I'm not trying to fight with you or make you feel any type of way about it. I'm just, it bothered me again. And you have the conversations, let your people know what's going on. But you do have to let go of the past. You can't hold on to the past, period. You can't change the past. The past doesn't exist anymore. This shit happened. You have to work on the right now and hope for the best in the future. Oh, that was a beautiful comment. Nicole said, your relationship has clearly put this woman in her most highest self. You guys gave me a shout out before, and I still love watching how much you love her. Love that.
Thank you for that.
Is it super straining on a relationship to have an online business? It can be. Having a business in general can be straining on a relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. Jenny said, I like the Earth Mother vibe. I agree. She came out and I was like, you're so fucking smart. And I looked at her and I was like, and beautiful. Hot.
Yeah. Derailed every thought that he had.
Yeah, it really did.
Was it the brown skirt?
It was just the everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was seeing the bottom part of my name tattooed across your stomach, the earrings dangling. Yeah, it was the whole thing.
Okay.
The hip shimmy that you did for me when I asked for it, it was a lot. Somebody asked about the email. You send any emails that you guys want to send to us, send it to tobebetterco@gmail.com. The number 2, tobetterco@gmail.com. Which episode was it that you guys discuss in-law boundaries? We've discussed that a lot.
I think we have a playlist on
I think
YouTube.
we do too. I know that the wizards in our Patreon, Zach and Jenny, who are phenomenal human beings, and we love them very much, created a secret project where they were trying to go through and list everything, and they were going through two years of an insane amount of content so that they would be able to refer people where it went. They actually had a name for it. It might have been like Project Black Book or something. I don't remember what it was called, but I don't know whatever came of that, but it would be, that's one of the things that I would like to get accomplished this year, is to get everything in YouTube labeled and put into
where it needs to go.
Yes. Crystal said, do more episodes on BPD with like 6 exclamation points. We have done a lot of episodes on BPD. A lot.
We live our life with BPD, so every episode is entangled with that.
It feels like it. It certainly feels like it's brought up constantly. Yeah. I feel like I've healed through a lot of that shit. I think that I still have bad days, but I don't have episodes.
Yeah.
So Sabrina said, speaking on having a business and straining relationships, most definitely. June will be 1 year since Mike made his business official. There's been many growing pains in all aspects. I believe that. Jenny said, there's so much content. So much. It's still being worked on. I love that. I've watched several, but you guys help so much. Well, we're glad we're help. You should look into our recommended reading list. There's 3 or 4 books on borderline in there that are game changers if you have borderline personality disorder, or if you're in a relationship with somebody who has borderline. So it feels very slow in here today.
It is.
Found y'all last year. Your content has helped me navigate putting things in better perspective with my loved one, and I want to say thank you. You're wonderful. Well, thank you.
You're wonderful.
A cabal of dissidents said, I'm in the Discord and sent an email, but I don't think the account I sent it from matches my Patreon email. I'm not sure if that will prevent it from being read, but if so, how do I fix that? You can resend it. You need to make sure that you put in their subject title, Patreon member. But just because you send an email or because you're in Patreon doesn't mean that your email will be read. If you sent a paragraph, it's not getting read. If you sent multiple pages and 8 pages and 7 of them is trauma dumping with a question, that's not going to get read either. We want to help you guys. If you just want to get all your shit out, write the email and delete it. But if you have things that you're really working through and you're trying to get advice, we can really run through shit. And there's certain conversations that are not going to get added to the email. So if you write something in and you're explaining a horrific traumatic experience from your childhood that involves SA, that's getting removed. We're not going to read that on the podcast. So, and we don't want to read that, period. The screeners will remove all of that. Shannon said, I understand the healing and overcoming. It's empowering to say it.
Yes, it is.
Kimberly said, I love the vibe Peach's outfit gives. Woman, you are beautiful. Women, you are beautiful.
Thank you. I'm enjoying my wardrobe change as well.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too. I think that you're finally finding the woman that I see. We've talked about that before we even did our retreat. When we were in Vegas, every time we go into stores, I'd be like, I'd like this on. You're like, I'm not comfortable in that. That's not my style.
Yeah.
I would hear that a lot. And like every time we would buy that shit, we'd do photo shoots. People like, oh my God, she looks so amazing.
Yeah.
And then we did the retreat and you're like, I'm done with that. I'm good now. And then you went and did all the whole thing. And I'm like, I fucking love this. Let's go buy more clothes. Like until I have to pull your dresses out of the dryer.
Yeah.
That's like folding a fitted sheet to me. Trying to just get your dress to lay flat on the, I'm so grateful that all I have to worry about is pants and shirts. Chris, is your book going to be available to Canada at any point? I would love to check it out. My book is available in Canada. It is, you can buy it on Amazon. Christopher Burkett, No One Is Coming to Save You. It's got me on the cover holding the book. It ships to Canada. I actually think the very first copy that we sold was to somebody in Canada.
That's crazy.
It was Jenna. She got the first copy that I know of because she read it before anybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning how to control my BPD because of your content. In-law boundaries, I mean, there isn't a topic that's not helpful, honestly. Well, I'm glad. Your approach to BPD info has helped me tremendously. Hearing how you have put things into action in your lives has helped guide me through my own issues. Really appreciate y'all. Well, so that's the difference between having somebody who has studied something and somebody who has lived something. And that's kind of the argument when people come at us sideways about not being therapists or being licensed, whatever. We have life experience. And just because we didn't pass an exam doesn't mean that we can't speak to our life experience.
Right.
It doesn't mean that we can't read a book, find value in it, and share the information in our own words. Like we are trying to help. Whether you like it or not is a different story, but
Yeah. I'm not going to hire someone who's only read about building houses
build a house.
to build a house.
Right. Yep. Mighty Mouse said, I love seeing everyone in a relationship share their vulnerability to the community in regards to difficulties. Knowing that we are not perfect and there's always room for improving, it gives me hope. Are you talking about the Discord? Because that sounds like a Discord conversation. If you guys are not a member of our Patreon, we highly recommend that you go look into that. Patreon.com/to-be-better. That's where her women's group is. That's where my men's group is. It's where our Patreon is, or our Patreon, obviously, because that's, the website I just gave you. That's totally where that
Our
is.
Discord.
It's where our Discord is. Could y'all do one on mind movies? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Please don't take this the wrong way. I completely respect your relationship, but I must say she always looks so elegant and super classy, whereas a lot of women nowadays don't have that class. Class, just like I think men should go back to having class rather than swag. There's nothing offensive there. I agree.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. I try very hard to be elegant and classy and graceful.
You do a really good job at it.
Thank you.
Yep. If I ever get into shape, and like I have like the what do they call it? The silver fox thing where I'm like actually like a sexy old man, I'll start wearing suits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not really.
Let's say if you start wearing suits, I'm really gonna have to bump up my game. I can't look like a hippie walking next to a international spy.
I will take my shoes off right fucking now.
Yeah.
If this is what it's gonna take to keep you in that, I will buy some yoga pants. I'll cut some holes in my t-shirts.
Yeah.
I'll drink wheatgrass.
Wheatgrass.
What the fuck? What do we got to do? Let's go. I'm here
Okay.
for it. I don't want to see any changes to the wardrobe. I love this.
You can't outclass me.
I
or
will walk
something.
around in dirty underwear, babe. Whatever
I'm
it
not
takes to
asking you to
keep
do
this,
that.
I'm gold.
But if you're getting like super classy dressed up and wearing suits,
I don't think I'll ever actually do that. I don't like the comfort of it.
okay.
And like if we lived up north,
Mhm.
I could probably wear a long sleeve shirt a lot more comfortably. We bought all those Dixons. It's too fucking hot.
My gosh. Yeah, it was almost 100 degrees the other day and it's the middle of April.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Somebody said they love my shirt.
It is a very nice shirt.
I love my shirt too. Thank you.
Before we continue on, I just want to make a quick comment. Women compliment me all the time. Men compliment me. It happens more in public than it does on the internet because people do try to be respectful. I have been more offended by the compliments that some women have given me than men have actually given me.
Why is that?
Because I don't know what it is. This is my assumption. I think that because they're like, oh, it's another girl, I can sexualize her and it's not going to be taken poorly. I've had women call me panty dropper. I have had women ask me to be a unicorn on their relationship because I'm so gorgeous and all these other kinds of things. It's okay for men to compliment women. I'm not saying you should walk up to a woman and be like, what did that ass do?
Right.
Don't talk to me that way. When I'm in public and like I'm like super concentrated or I'm good, whatever I'm doing, I've had a lot of older gentlemen. It's always an older gentleman come up to me and say, "Smile, you look prettier that way." And I used to be massively offended by that.
A lot of women are.
You can't tell me what to do with my face. No, I actually like my smile now, and I like who I am as a person. And it turns out all of those older gentlemen were right.
That is a man's way of saying you're very tense.
Right.
You look very just right now.
Yeah.
Smile. Somebody told me probably 20 years ago that if you smile, the world will smile with you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm in public, I used to get really nasty with people who would stop me and talk to me because I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
And now I just smile and I'm polite, and it's changed my interactions and it's changed my view of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Having somebody ask you to be a unicorn in their relationship is like, I mean, it can't get any more sexual than that.
Right.
Just because of your appearance.
Yeah.
Like the fucking balls on a broad to walk up and say some shit like that. Like
Oh no, it was a DM.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
I mean, it's still direct communication, but yeah.
D-Pain said, able to join the live today. Been a rough few days, but hey, Florida's coming up fast. Yeah, our retreat will be here in what, 2 months? We have a really packed end of the year.
We do.
Like the Q3 and 2, 3, and 4 are good. One was pretty slow. We didn't do really much. We did the one retreat. We have ceremony at the end of the month. We have Costa Rica in May. We have a couples retreat that we're hosting in Florida in June. July, we're probably going to do some sort of a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
We have another couples retreat in August. We haven't nailed down September yet because it's our birthday month, and I don't want to squander that. November, we have the moderator meet and greet, and then Christmas is in December. And then we are currently in the works of setting up. Oh my God, excuse me, a international retreat to Greece in May of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting on that email. I was really hoping it would come through today so that we could announce it. I'm going to scroll down because we've been talking. We'll skip all this. Oh, there's a super chat. Rachel said, if my boyfriend of 4 years isn't willing to be transparent about his finances, debts, income, how would you handle that if you were planning future? How would you handle that if we are planning the future? It worries me.
Doesn't sound like you guys are planning anything.
It doesn't.
If there's not open communication about what's going on, and right, okay, so boyfriend of 4 years.
That's a huge flag for me.
It is. I agree with that. I think after the 2-year mark, you need to decide on whether or not you're going to commit to living life together or if this isn't working for you guys. At 4 years, being shady, lying by omission, just straight up not talking about finances, debts, or income, that's absolutely insane to me. I can't trust somebody who isn't willing to be transparent about life. And finances is one of those things that can really put you into a bind if you just overlook it.
Right. And a lot of people do.
Right. This man could have a gambling issue. He could be living above his means.
Massive credit card debt.
Right. Loan sharks. I mean, the list can go on, and it gets more extreme as we think about it. But if I were in this situation, there would be like Thursday night, we're going to have dinner and we need to have a conversation about our life. Make sure you have nothing going on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And when that day approaches and we finally sit down and have that talk, it would be a conversation of all I statements. I need to be with somebody that I can fully trust. I can't be with somebody who isn't willing to divulge things about finances or their income or their debts. I need to have stability in every aspect of my life, and finances is one of those biggest things.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. The idea of trying to have a financial conversation once and never bringing it back up is crazy to me.
Right.
We talk about money constantly in
every
our work.
day.
Yeah, it is a constant conversation. And granted, if you're somebody who works and you have a very set budget and you don't have a business, you're just an employee and you know that you're going to make $450 every week or whatever, it is that you make. Mm-hmm. You just have to balance your shit. And then when it's done, the conversation is about what are we doing after, like, this is what we have left at the end of the month of money to either put into savings or buy or whatever we do. That's where those conversations are going to come. So it may not look as extreme as our conversations. We do talk about it every day.
Yeah.
But we own businesses and we have other financial interests and things that are happening. And that is something that is very prevalent in our life. It should be prevalent in all of your lives. You don't want to be that person that has to work when they're fucking 95 years old and can't stand up straight. Like, Yep. Lindsay said, speaking of Discord and women's groups, the photo challenge is really challenging for me. Super uncomfortable looking at myself, but it's helping.
I love that. I don't post in the photo challenge every day. I'll do it every once in a while, but I'll go in there at least once a day and just scroll through all the photos and heart react them. I love the confidence and bravery that the women in that group have. Because you don't have to post yourself every day.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why. A lot of people can't stand looking at themselves.
That's true.
And I think that it's a very beautiful thing to be able to face that and ignore all of the negative things that you can think.
Yep. You are definitely putting yourself out there for people to judge because they will.
Yeah. But it also gives room for them to appreciate.
Yeah. It's the difference between smiling or not smiling.
Yeah.
The
only true ugliness that I've seen in anybody is their character.
Yeah. Agree with that. Maria said, what kind of emails are you currently wanting? I'm working on my happy love story with my husband and my struggle story with my ex. I will also be writing a letter to my younger self soon. We do all emails. It depends on what we feel like reading. We actually haven't read thank yous in a while. We should probably pop that up before we end the live stream and read a couple thank you emails.
Okay.
Sabrina for $10 super chat said, thanks to Peach, I'm starting to find comfort in dressing up not only for myself, but for my man. Even with body changes due to having a baby, I oddly feel more confident than before.
You should.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're no longer, how do I want to phrase this? Bringing life to earth is one of the most divine things I've experienced. And knowing that I, as these children's mother, have the most direct impact on not just their childhood, but their lifelong, who they're going to be. I take a lot of pride in that.
It's a huge responsibility.
Right. And do I make mistakes? Yes. No parent is perfect. But there is a lot of confidence in me knowing that I'm not just doing right by myself with my growth and all those kinds of things. I'm also doing it for my children. And looking at my body after having children, I have stretch marks 360 from my stomach to my ass crack and back again. Like, what?
Those are girl marks. I'm not the reason for them stretch marks, but he's a fucking sexy steak over there.
Thank you. And, you know, I've lost almost 200 pounds in weight. I was 340 pounds at my highest. And I am more confident now in my life than I've ever been. And it's because my body is a physical remembrance of everything that I've been through. And I've still come out stronger on the other end of it.
Growth.
Yeah.
Cass said, how would you go about healing from a toxic mother-in-law being allowed to affect the family by my husband? She passed last year, so bringing it up gets tricky. He's never really owned it or apologized. Okay, so I don't know the situation.
Right.
You didn't say what was allowed or what he did or didn't do. Mm-hmm. But what didn't happen is the conversation. I don't feel like you protected me against your mother when she was doing whatever she was doing, right? That's the conversation that needs to be had. How much would an apology actually change, knowing that the woman is dead and the behavior of that can't be changed?
Right. Would you also want the apology if he's just saying it to get you to shut up?
That's true too. I would rather have the conversations about what didn't happen.
Right, and the acknowledgments, and
you failed
I
me
can
in
see
moment.
how that hurts you, or I can see how you feel like I failed you.
Yep.
I would rather be seen than just hear I'm sorry.
I don't want to hear I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to hear I'll work on it. The behavior will change. I didn't realize that it affected you the way that it did. That makes me feel like shit. I'll work on it. I understand that I'm sorry is a great way to convey that you'll work on it.
Yeah, to verbally show remorse.
But I want to hear that you're going to work on it. And then I want to see that you're going to work on it. And I want to, even if you disagree with it, I want to know that you understand my point. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I just want to add on a little bit more. Questions like that, I think, deserve an email.
Absolutely.
Because there is so much context not given. I can't tell you whether or not I can side with you and like your husband's wrong in this situation, right. Whatever. Or maybe you're being a little overly emotional and there was a unrealistic expectation there. Like you said, we don't know what the overstepping or what was allowed within the relationship. But I think that you should email in if you would like a more in-depth perspective from us.
One of the things that I'm writing in the current book that I'm writing speaks on conflict in a marriage. And unless you, and I had to preface this statement in the book as well with, unless you're with a narcissist or somebody that truly is abusive, your person coming to you with conflict is not because they want to fight. That's never the goal. Nobody goes, I'm going to go home and ruin his fucking day. Unless they're not right.
Right, unless they are mentally sick.
Right.
There's a vindictiveness, there's a manipulation, there's a hurt happening.
Right. It's more likely that they've been holding on to whatever's going on for so long that it's making them sick to think about the fact that they're fixing to have this conversation. because they know it's going to happen. They know that it's going to blow up or whatever the case may be, and they don't want to do it. But they do, and then it gets ugly, and everything that they thought was going to happen happens, and nothing gets resolved. When you realize that your partner is coming to you because something in their world is not right, that's what I use to try to back my defensiveness down. Because every human being on the planet, our lizard brain wants to protect us. It's in our DNA. Things tried to kill us for 100,000 years. So when something doesn't feel right or if something feels like an attack, it is natural for us to want to defend ourselves. We don't want to be wrong or to be the problem. And that's our ego. So now our lizard brain and our ego is going against our relationship. There's a whole lot of check yourself in the moment. I wrote all this out this morning, and I was going to talk to you about it later, but because it just got brought up, now would be a good time to bring that up. I think that if we ever have other disruptions, that needs to be a phrase that is stated while it's happening.
What?
My world is not okay right now. This isn't an attack on you. I'm not okay, and I want you to help me solve it. Because it's very different than you always and you never, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well, to clarify, I've never said that to my husband either.
No.
So-
No. That was just an example.
Okay.
Yeah. But that situation specifically was more for you talking to me, because I do know that when I'm on autopilot, I can get defensive. And sometimes it takes a minute for me to reel that back and be like, okay, wait a minute. Let's talk. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk to you that way. I'm on autopilot a lot.
More often than not recently.
Yeah, well, because I've got a lot going on. I have been hyper fixating on a whole lot of things, and it's been consuming me. Starting to write my book again has been great. You know, spending an hour and a half every morning writing is helping me organize my thoughts, and it's helping me set my day up in a way that I feel good about what I'm doing. Because while I'm writing, I'm having revelations about my past and about, our relationship, and excuse me, it's very good for my mental health. It's like vlogging for me.
Yeah.
The only difference is when I vlog, I vlog a lot more than I post. Like, I'll vlog videos and delete them, because when I say things and I do things, I'm not trying to get pity. I'm working through my shit in real time.
Yeah.
And when I post it and the pity's there, I don't like that. So
Yeah.
Iggy said, "Good morning, y'all. Just wanted to say I'm grateful for you guys and everyone in the entire community. Remember to be good humans today, everyone." Scrolling for another super chat, and there's one. And I was gonna say, if there isn't, we can jump into some thank you emails.
Okay.
Danish said, "Thank you for everything you both and this community do for everyone. Much gratitude and respect. I fully believe that all of you have impacted my husband and I's lives for the better."
I love that.
Voice of the Broken. So I just seen that you made a episode 2 months ago, Not the Man I Used to Be. I didn't realize you made that episode and going to watch it now. Thank you for replying. Kind of nervous. LOL. It's me. Well, enjoy. Send an update. I don't know. I don't know. Is that for you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot I'm counting down in life, so I would need specifics.
All right, that just hit the bottom. There's a super chat just came through. Check out the book Becoming Supernatural. I think y'all would like it. It has a lot on mind movies, a lot like vision boards. Thank you for everything. I am a fucking huge fan of vision boards. It's good. Vision boards are awesome. If you guys want to get opinions or things read on the podcast, send an email to tobetterco@gmail.com. It's been a while since we read a thank you email. I haven't even started reading yet. It feels kind of good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emails to read.
Love stories. We haven't done one of those in a while either. Feel good? Just pick a feel good. Anger, guilt, pain, acceptance, and moving on. This is a 5-pager.
Okay.
Let me minimize this a little bit so that I can still see the chat. There's super chats coming through. I want to read them. This one came through that said, from Lemon, "I just wanted to pop in and say hello and thank you."
Hello.
Thank you for the super chat. All right, beautiful. Do your thing.
Hello, beautiful people. I wanted to give you an update on my life. There really haven't been many huge events to report, but I felt there were some things that I should clarify, as well as some personal growth that has happened because of the insights you have provided. I felt this email was necessary because of how forthcoming all of the people that send in emails have been with you, and I was less than that.
Uh-oh.
There may be some insights that you'll be able to provide me with when given the whole story. That makes sense. You can't get accurate anything if not all of the facts or perspectives are divulged.
Mm-hmm. We've said it a lot that we are giving a pinhole to view your life based off of what you show us. So,
Yep.
hello, beautiful people. My brain went da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. The beautiful people. And I started. I started. I started to smirk, and you kept reading. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop. 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 I love that song.
That's a good song. The Marilyn Manson version of it, or
yeah.
I like his version.
Is there another version of it?
Yes.
No.
Charles Manson did a cover of that song.
Well, he would have done the original because Marilyn Manson was way after that. Charles Manson.
I meant Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Did I say Charles Manson?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, cuckoo actually.
Now I'm thinking Marilyn Monroe. The fucking guy who was rumored to have a rib removed.
That's Marilyn Manson. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm making a joke now because my brain is
Gotcha.
mixed up. Yeah, he did a cover of that song. He didn't write that.
I thought that was his original.
No.
Now I have to find the original song.
Now I feel like I'm wrong. Hang on.
What do you guys think, chat? Is it original? I bet everybody's Googling right now. Hey, Alexa, play The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson. Aloha Snack Bar said, I need a full cover of The Beautiful Peaches by Peaches. She nailed it. That'll have to be on an After Dark. Definitely not the original. Holy shit, I had no idea. You guys are shattering my existence with this. How did I not know that? Damn it, Chris. Ha, it worked. The one time I don't have earbuds in. You just made my Alexa play it. I love that.
That's funny.
I really get a sick satisfaction out of all of that. I love that.
Twiggy Ramirez.
Okay, so that was the original performance. Are you thinking of Sweet Dreams? Because that was the Eurythmics.
Oh, it might be.
Okay.
It might be. This is why you don't believe everything you hear on the internet without fact checking.
That's funny. All right, let's get back to this.
Okay. The impetus of the email was wanting help with reconciling the fact that I was already able to consider moving on after my fiance had passed away just a few months prior. My justification was that we were not in a great position prior to her passing. I was worried about the health of our daughters and her health as well, to the point that I was preparing to talk to her about splitting for a time till she could work things out through therapy and get right in her head before we revisited living together again and making us work. I still loved her, but I was no longer in love with her at that point. But I still had the desire to get back to that point again. At this point in our lives, we were just over 2 years after having our second daughter, a short year and 26 days after our first. Now, there are some things that I intentionally misled and lied about in my first email because I believed that I was keeping her honor intact. And quite frankly, I was embarrassed at some of it as well.
Wow.
I'll be clearing that up here. Mad respect to that.
Right?
What?
You know how vegans will tell you they're vegan?
Mm.
Authors will tell you they're writing a book.
Yeah.
Because every time something comes up that I've written about in the last 3 days, I'm like, oh, I just wrote about this.
Yeah.
And I almost did it again.
Okay.
So that's what that smirk was.
Gotcha. Continuing.
Yes.
First, I mentioned that I wasn't perfect in our relationship, but didn't get into it. At the time, I didn't understand what postpartum truly did to a woman's body and her mental state. So I was not equipped to properly help her through that, especially with the fact that she was a diagnosed, unmedicated bipolar. Now that I have been following you, I understand that neither of our intimacy cups were getting filled at all and causing animosity to grow in me for having to pick up the slack in the home and to turn to corn in search of filling that cup, while depression was tightening its grip on my songbird, my pet name for her.
Real quick, we got a super chat from Juliana that said, just join the Discord. And the Women's Thrive group is what I needed.
I love that. I love that it's doing so well for you.
I know that every single time this comes up, we talk about the difference between your group and my group. Your women are so emotionally open with you. And you guys, like your calls go on sometimes 2.5 hours. It's fucking wild to me. Because our conversations don't last that long.
Yeah.
Like they'll start off and last 30, 45 minutes unless, somebody gets in there and just trauma dumping their life. It doesn't happen like that very often though. It normally goes into debauchery. We talk about hunting and fishing and dirt biking and all the other things that men do. And I normally get off the call at that point. Like I have other shit that I need to do, but I'm not going to let the opportunity to go by when talking about your women groups to tell you how fucking proud I am of you. I love the way that you fucking handle these women. You are changing people's lives.
Thank you.
And that's your power.
Yeah.
That's your healer. Like I fucking believe that shit. So
I'm really trying. Definitely trying.
Here's a $20 super chat that just came through before you pick back up. Good afternoon, you two. I'm dropping by to say hello. Also, I am done with deep diving and ready to just live. I'm looking forward to possibly attending a retreat in 2026, and I am genuinely grateful for all the triggers. That's from Spring Allison. Well, I'm glad that you're still here and watching since you're done deep diving. The Greece trip is in the process of becoming a thing.
Yes.
Just a matter of time. All right, let's go back to the email.
Okay. Oh, before we do, I wanted to touch on something. The reason that my women's calls take so long is that almost every woman speaks.
Yeah.
So there's never a time where one woman hogs the floor for 45 minutes. I think everyone's very mindful. There is room to say what you need to say without making the call all about you because there are 20 other women waiting for their turn to speak. There's a lot of support that happens, a lot of encouragement, a lot of perspective like, hey, have you thought about it this way?
It's the whole point of all of that.
Yeah, it's never a 2-hour call of just me talking. Or I think I'm the person who talks the least on those calls.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll jump in there and like share what I experienced with the challenges or the books. And sometimes I'll share wins in life or things that I was struggling with.
I think that's important because it makes you a human to these ladies. Somebody asked, where's the woman calling? How do I join? It's through our Patreon, guys. She has her own women's group. I have my own men's group. And that's how we do all of that. So you have to join on our Patreon to be a member to get in to do all of that.
Yeah.
And yes, I see people mentioning Greece. Greece is in the process, guys. I sent the emails last night to Trova Trip. The goal is to do it the second week of May of 2026, which gives people who want to go an entire year time to get to that point.
Right.
So, because we understand these trips aren't fucking cheap.
No, yeah, there's definitely planning. Some people have children that they need to get situated. And we are also aiming, I think the week that we're going, school will be ended for most states. So it'll be summer vacation, which will help a lot.
Yeah.
But definitely gives time to save up money.
And the trip will be able to be financed, like all of them. So, yeah.
Nick on Facebook said, very mindful, very demure. Thank you. I certainly do strive for that. Continuing on, this lack of understanding led to her offering to open the relationship. Overly complicated to explain, but that was where our convos led, thinking that would help ease tensions, or at least that is what she told me it would be for. It was only after her passing that I would learn that was a flat-out lie. After she died, I went through her phone to get photos of her for her celebration of life I was throwing as a stand in a funeral. And while doing so, I found out that she had been impersonating the two people I had been entertaining as potential thirds in our relationship.
Wow.
That makes me want to cry.
I mean, she clearly didn't want that.
Right, but I also wonder who initiated the conversations about opening the relationship. It led to her offering to open the relationship, but was she the one who initiated that conversation? Or was it you? And then she ended up offering because she recognized that there was nowhere else for this to go. In a desperate grab, she pretended to be two other women to try and ease the blow of what she just allowed in the relationship.
It's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It is. That's definitely a lot. I remember being that woman in my last marriage. I never faked profiles or like faked talking to my ex-husband, but I remember being that woman obsessing and allowing it to consume me. Who is he talking to now? I was cheated on multiple times. And it got to the point where I was going through his phone. I was digging through his Instagram. I was looking at his messenger, all of his text messages, Facebook. Who is he friends with that I don't know about? It became very obsessive. And the lack of self-worth that I had, I felt absolutely worthless in that relationship. So I know what it's like to be in a mindset akin, right? We don't know what she went through. We will never know what she went through. She can't tell us. But projecting my own experience and cognitive bias onto what was just stated in the email, that absolutely breaks my heart.
Yeah. That situation from your past is one of those things that still is something that you're working through.
Yeah.
Because I had like WhatsApp open yesterday when you asked something, and I had to open WhatsApp to show you, and you're like, who's that random person? Like, and I could tell
It wasn't a random person. It was a woman.
Right. Either way.
Right.
Random woman.
We usually let each other know.
Right. Well, I did when it happened because it was about a retreat in Brazil. We had had a full conversation about it, but because you saw that, there was a trigger moment there. And I opened WhatsApp back up and scrolled down. I'm like, what are you talking about? And you showed me, and I showed you the conversation and opened it back up.
It didn't feel like a trigger for me.
Felt like it to me when you were responding the way that you did.
I just asked.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading into the situation differently.
Did you take it personally?
Not personal, not at all. Why would I? That's not a personal thing.
I don't know, like maybe I was attacking you or not trusting you or something.
No, those are moments that I think that I'm seeing your past life and our relationship. That's why I don't take it personal.
Gotcha.
Because I know what you went through in your previous marriage.
Yeah.
So when you see those things and you ask me about it, I know you're not questioning me.
No, it's more of we have set guidelines of our relationship.
Yeah.
So if I see something, I'm going to ask about it. I'm not going to sit here and make assumptions about it.
And I would much rather that be the case.
Yeah.
I would rather you fucking question me than fucking assume and be silent and resentful and, be wrong. Could you imagine if you would have let that settle for a week and you were fucking fuming and upset about it, and then you confronted me and I'm like,
right,
for the Brazil trip that we're trying to go to, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Continuing?
Yeah.
She was not happy about my corn use at all, and for some reason, this was her way of figuring out what was going on in my head, I think. The crazy part about it is that if she acted the way those fake accounts did towards me, then things would have been very different. This is not to discount my role in what was happening to us, but the connection I got from those short interactions would have been on a whole different level if it were coming from her directly.
I actually don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I'm going to ask you why, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Because it's new, right? You had that with your relationship at one point. Mm-hmm. Everybody does. That lust phase is intense. And when that lust phase fades and you start thinking that you're getting that lust phase from somebody else, you're getting a fake facade. Mm-hmm. That's not who people are all the time.
Right. And she was faking that.
Right. And she obviously did in the beginning too, because it's not who she was, which is why you guys were in the position that you were in. Mm-hmm. That's actually really a shitty situation and a really horrible thing to feel from both people.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, reading that from her perspective, that had to have wrecked her a little bit.
Oh, I believe it.
Knowing that he was giving that type of attention versus putting that effort into the relationship, because that's a two-way street.
It is.
It's rough.
Definitely.
People fall in love with the idea of what their partner can be versus who they are.
There would also be a part of me that, even with this heal version of me, right? Because there's still things that I have to work through internally. Just because I'm on my healing journey doesn't mean that things don't affect me.
Right, of course.
Or that I'm not triggered by things. And do I think that we could come back together after something like this? I do. It would take a lot in me, though, to not hold resentment towards, well, you could have been doing that this whole time.
Right.
And like you said, the faking aspect of things. Like, is this genuine, or are they just doing this because they don't want to give up the life that we currently have? So
It's a lot.
it is definitely a lot.
I almost did it again. In the book I'm writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I scroll too far?
No.
Okay.
Because of this and agreeing with your views about situations like this, any future relationship I have will never have this as an option and will be a hard wall for me.
Good.
Because of all of the above, she had turned to substances as an escape. After finding out about the extent of it the first time, she had some really bad withdrawals, and I stayed home with her to take care of the house and be there for her when she needed me. After a week, I was under the impression that things were a bit more under control and then went back to work. Granted, this was all during the time of what I thought was us trying to open the relationship, and I thought we had beat back the demon together and we're on the same page again. I had no clue about how tight the hand of addiction can be.
Mm. Before we move on with the email, I'm very curious if the emailer is still on the page of having an open relationship. Like, is that still something moving into future relationships?
He just said no.
Well,
Scroll up.
I thought he was talking about porn.
No, talking about the open relationship. I mean, that's how I took it. Because of this and agreeing with your views about situations like this, any future relationship I have this will never be an option.
Oh, see, I thought he was talking about pornography. Okay,
Gotcha.
so that answered my question either way.
I want to touch on addiction. I don't think people are addicted to the substance. I think they're addicted to the fact that they can escape their reality.
That's how it starts. I've been dope sick. I promise you that you're addicted to the substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your body is.
Yeah.
Like physically, the addiction is a lot. But I think people turn back to addiction mentally because they're able to escape their reality and not have to deal with what's going on.
Yeah. I know that it starts that way. Again, as somebody who's been dope sick, I don't think that stays that way. You start that way. You absolutely do. And then after you start getting dope sick and you start feeling those aches and pains, all you want is that to go away. That's all you're thinking about. So maybe the escapism shifts to not feeling that way anymore. Right. But I definitely, I know that that's a narrative now. And I've actually seen that floating around, and I've seen TikToks where people have said that. And it, as somebody who's been an addict and has actually been in that like ugliness, I disagree with that from my standpoint. Yeah.
Talking from my own experience, I could easily go back to all of it if I didn't have to experience some things in life anymore.
Well, that speaks to what you were saying with it starting with escapism.
But I've kicked the addictions of the things. Like, I'm not reliant on those substances anymore. And I guess I'm speaking more on the people who habitually go back to it. Like, they go through the withdrawal, they're living life fine, and then a year or two later, something tragic happens, and they turn right back to the substance because it's an escape.
That's a very different conversation than the one that I was having, because I agree with that as well. But that speaks to habitual patterns and not coping with your trauma and the things that you're dealing with. That's people who would rather just take drugs than go to therapy, right? Like, there's a whole lot that can be said in that. So I agree with all of that, 100%. We were having two very different conversations.
I agree with what you were saying. I do believe that at a certain point, the body becomes so reliant on it that trying to live without it feels like you're killing yourself.
It does. It feels worse than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Continuing on, that is until a couple of days before she died. I had found out that she was back to using, and it was just as bad. We had a deeply emotional talk where I pleaded with her to get help and that I was worried about the health of our kids in the house with it and with me at work. This all leads up to the final lie I said in my first email. It wasn't more than a day or two later that I woke up on the couch. I had been sleeping on the couch for a while under the impression that it would let her sleep better. Got up, got the kids up and fed, started cleaning and taking care of the house. It was about noon when I started to think that she should have woken up by now and asked me to make her something to eat and bring it into the room. After a few more minutes, I decided to go and check on her, where I found her cold from ODing sometime in the night. That's fucking heavy.
Yes, it is. Someone in the chat, why is therapy expensive though? If you spent your entire life dedicated to an education, spent all of your savings and taking on student loan debts to be able to become certified to be a therapist, and then had to deal with other people's problems the way that you do, wouldn't you want to charge for your time?
Yeah.
The idea that it should just be free or that the government should pay for it, I mean, I could definitely see in some instances that should be the case. Fuck, we spend enough money in taxes that we should have some sort of mental health care plan. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But you guys can't expect people to do work and not get paid for it. You know, and then, you can speak to socials programs if you want, but that's my answer to that.
I hope that I know we know who emailed this in. We don't drop names.
No.
Even if you have emailed in before, if you include your name, we're not going to do that. If you feel comfortable outing yourself in the chat, you can do that. You're more than welcome to. This is your story to tell. We're just reading the email. I hope that there is no shame or guilt tied to her passing. I would feel absolutely fucking awful knowing that our relationship was having issues. And, right, things came out later on that have clicked for this emailer. But the amount of self-punishment I would be giving myself.
Well, and that's what the original email was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that that's no longer a thing.
Better Built Dog said we send 1.2 billion to the Taliban every 6 months. Some of that could definitely go to mental health.
Yeah.
All of that could go to mental health, for as far as I'm concerned. There's a whole lot of things that we could be doing with the money that we have been wasting.
Yes.
So, but that's more of a political conversation, and we are definitely not getting into that. So,
all right, continuing on. That sight, right after opening that door, will always be seared in my head. Even though I had already made up my mind that we needed to separate and have her go into an inpatient rehab, the conversation that I was prepping to talk to her about, this was still the same woman that I loved and the mother of my children. I will always regret my role in the circumstances around her death, but because of the insight I've received by listening to you two, I now know that I need to acknowledge her role in it as well.
absolutely.
Somebody dying does not make them a martyr.
No.
It does not
Absolutely
make them a
not.
saint. It does not mean that they never did any wrong in their life. Death is just as natural as people making mistakes.
Yeah. It's a hell of a thing to say, but when you think about it, you're right, because it's going to happen.
Right. While we may not have been exactly happy at that moment, she still made the decision to do it. And in the end, I had no control over her actions. That is true. That insight has truly saved me from being in a destructive depression spiral multiple times. So thank you so very much for that. There really aren't enough words to describe how I feel about it.
I want to, real quick, because I do know who this email is from. First and foremost, I'm grateful that you're a part of our community.
Yes.
Because you're not just an emailer. Like, you're a member of our community. We know who you are.
Yeah.
The fact that you have been doing the work and you are healing, and the fact that you're able to send this email shows that all of what we're doing works. It may not work for everyone, but this is, from what's happening here, this is proof that what we're doing is what we should be doing in life. We sat down here a minute ago and we're talking about people who don't love their jobs.
Yeah.
I fucking love what we do. I get excited to come in here and sit down and talk to you. I have the greatest job on the fucking planet. I get to look at a beautiful woman, have meaningful conversations, and change the world while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Fucking blessed.
Your life is what you make it to be.
Yeah.
If this isn't what you wanted in life, you wouldn't have it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I pursue the things that I think is going to make me happy.
Yeah. Continuing.
Yeah.
There have been so many insights that you have imparted to me during the time I have listened. Everything from the effect of postpartum on a woman's body and mind to understanding how bad our communication was and understanding what I need to do in my next relationship. Your help has been so helpful that I believe that I am truly able to move on. So much so that I made my first approach to a woman just a couple of days ago without feeling off about doing it.
I love that.
Even though my advance was rejected, I feel like it was a major step in my healing process, and I have you two to thank for that. Another area that you have helped me as a father. The way you talk about your kids and how you handle them has been an inspiration and has made me be a better father by implementing some of the things that you have to do with your kids. The scariest thing I have ever done is be a single father, but you all have given me the great tools to make my life even just a little bit easier. Lastly, that depression spiral that you have thwarted in me has allowed me to start looking further into the future than tomorrow, and I now have plans to potentially start my own business and be my own boss. I don't know yet if it's going to be something I will follow through with, but the fact that I have even been looking into it is such a testament to the growth that I have had. I also have a plan to get my financial ducks in a row over the next couple of years so that I am able to buy some decent property for my girls to have a fantastic childhood on. My girls may be my entire motivation for all that I do, but I have you two to thank for all of it. I am deeply appreciative. I don't know if this dude's in the chat right now, but I'm proud of you.
I actually haven't seen his name today. But I will let him know the next time I talk to him that we read his email on a live. He told me that he was going to send another email when we were gaming.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was going to fucking be all that.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be another help email, not a thank you email. Whew.
That was a lot.
Fuck, I need a minute, man.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
That was a lot.
All right, it's another 5-pager.
Okay.
Someone said I'm tearing up watching y'all tear up. Sorry, guys. I hate this.
Why do you hate it?
Because I don't know.
You don't hate it.
You're right. Fucker. This is what I've always wanted, was to be able to process my emotions real time instead of just cramming it down. So you're right. I don't hate it. I fucking love that I'm able to do this now. And
this is what you asked for.
It took a single ceremony in life to be able to get to where we are. I cannot wait to see who I am at the beginning of May.
Yeah.
This one's called My Deepest Thanks, Patreon's women's group member.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm ready. Oh, I know who this is.
I don't.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Hello, Chris and Peach. It's now the new year, and I've done a lot of reflection on my gratitude for the things life brought my way in 2024, and you both are on my list. So here's my thank you for everything that you do by sharing a moment in my actual life as an appreciation email. I'm in the midst of a processing storm after a rough few days, and I realized as I went to turn on the podcast why I'll always turn it on and re-listen to or find new content from you guys when I'm working through things. It's because the way you guys do your content, everything about the way you guys carry yourselves online, every piece of the genuine and authentic parts of yourselves you share comes through.
This is who we are. This is fucking who we are, guys. This is not a facade. Anybody that has spent any time with us can tell you that this is us.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and ugly. This is who we are.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm going to continue doing that. So I'm going to go blow my nose real quick.
You want? I can.
I'm going to use, there's some right there. I don't
Okay.
want snotty tissues on my desk. That's where you're at.
Okay. I'm not going to start reading until you're back. All right.
This also gave me
That's a good call. You're going to admit something stupid? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. And I know that this is just kind of craziness, and I'm sorry that I'm about to say this to you, but the reason that I don't want my tissue sitting there is because that's a purge. And I know that when I expel that, I don't want that energy sitting next to me.
I mean, that's a good fucking call. I've started.
Should I take my shoes off now and just we'll put on some yoga pants?
What happened to our grounding mats?
That's a good fucking question. I have no idea. Maybe that's why I'm so emotional, is I'm not grounded to the earth.
I don't know, but I'm feeling a certain way about that. No, I get that purge thing. Kids got out of the car yesterday, and I was like, I'll be inside in a minute, guys. And they're like, Mommy, what's the matter? I was like, I just need a minute. And they went inside, and I sat in my car and cried for like 2 or 3 minutes. And the only thing I was thinking the whole time I was crying is, this is a purge, and it feels so good to let it out.
That's funny.
I really do view things a lot differently after that retreat.
Yeah, so do I. We got a new patron while we were sitting
here.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm very curious to see what's going to happen on this next one. Because I think that I could have went way deeper into the medicine than I did on that first retreat.
Oh gosh, I feel like this retreat is going to be like you guys took the kiddie coaster last time. Yeah. So buckle up for Shikra, bitch.
We're no longer riding the little dragon coaster that just goes like this.
And it spins when it goes around a turn.
Yeah.
Yep. I really would like to do it as like a bi-monthly thing.
Yeah.
I think that would be dope.
I want to get to the point where we can get to a place where we're able to host once a month, like Guardian once a month, and retreat once a month. But I
would love that. Continuing, it feels like calling up your good friends in life, the ones who will tell you straight up, but with love, who aren't going to pity party you, but if you want to vent and then get back up, then we can have a little pity sprinkle about it.
A pity sprinkle?
Yeah.
Is that when you don't really have to pee, you just got to tinkle?
I imagined a sun shower.
Okay.
But
the sun is shining and it's raining?
Yeah.
A little sprinkle.
Little sprinkle. Then we can talk about what we can do about it and how we can fix it. Knowing when it's an us being the problem issue. Or when the friend who is mad at you for when someone does you wrong, and then make sure that you remember, now you hold your head higher than that bitch because remember who you are.
This is the person that just subscribed to the Patreon. Thought about it for some time, but just joined your Patreon as a VIP. I send clips of your content to my husband almost daily. The name was in the email.
I love that. I hope that you get benefit out of the Patreon. I hope at some point, I don't know what tier you subscribe to, but if you bring your husband in on the Discord, I think you guys will start to just take off with the growth, the amount of support and community that's in our Discord. We don't deal with fuckery. Mm-mm. I believe we've only banned 2 people from our Discord, and it's because they were stalking. We don't play games. Anybody who is in there gossiping or shit talking or sharing one thing from a chat to another chat behind people's backs, they are going to be kicked.
Yeah.
Not playing that game at all.
Yep. We actually had somebody reach out to the actual main chat the other night and ask if we could make a comment or a video talking about how if you share our content out of the Discord to the rest of the world and we find out about it, we will ban you. And at the time I was like, there's no reason for to say that. It's in the rules. Like it's very clear when
People
you
don't
jump
read
in.
the rules.
No, so I'm making it clear. If we find anybody sharing conversations or anything outside of the Discord to the rest of the world or sharing the content that we post there, you will be removed from that shit and permanently banned. Yeah, you can have your fucking money back. We don't want you there.
Yeah. Your email address will be flagged. Like you will not be able to create another account.
Yeah. Let's go back.
And I won't even feel bad about it.
No, not at all.
I very much view our Discord as a sacred place for people to go into away from the rest of their life, where there's not any judgment, there's not any shame, and you don't have to worry about what's being said because nobody in there's going to backstab you.
It's a tribe.
Yes. The things that are said and talked about are not the gossip for the ton. This isn't Bridgerton. We are not staking our lives on what society thinks of us.
No.
We are in there to be human beings and to show love and grace for one another. Fucking disgusting. Why did you laugh? Is it the way I said it?
It was the way you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what you said. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, continuing. I always find exactly what I need to hear at some point for everything I'm going through when I listen. It might take me 5 to 6 episodes straight to find it, but those are the days y'all are in the background while I'm cleaning or cooking or getting ready for the day. Sometimes I find it in one episode first try, like you guys are speaking to me. Those are the episodes I play on repeat a few times just so it can hit home for me all over again.
That's those who need to hear the message will hear the message.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's times that happens to me with audiobooks. I'll have like my headphones on, or I'll be driving, I'll be doing something. I'm not really checked in, but it's still there. It's like the parents from Charlie Brown, and then it gets crystal clear, and I'm like, what the fuck did they just say? Wait a minute. You know?
Yeah.
I do that too.
There are multiple times where I'm like listening to something on YouTube or I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm like, hang on, what did this bitch just say to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. You better watch your mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I have to pause it, spend 5 minutes thinking about what I just heard, then going back in there, rewinding it, listening
make sure
to it
you
again.
heard it. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
processing one more time, be like, okay, third time's a charm.
That's funny. I did that this morning. Real quick, Shelby said on these retreats, do you get alone time, or is there a specific schedule that we would have to adhere to? So, I don't know which retreats you're referring to.
Right.
So if you're referring to the ayahuasca ceremonies, because that's what we were recently just talking about, that's not on us. That's
No.
just somewhere where we go to partake in ceremonies as a religious experience. It's the way that it's done in the United States. And that's helped us. As for our retreats where we host and we are doing the thing, Friday nights are dinner. We have a big get to know everyone dinner.
Yes.
You have your own room. You get to go up and do your own thing. And whenever you're ready to, you want to go to bed early, you can skip the dinner. You can do that too. Saturday, we do seminars. We're in a house. Everybody's hanging out together. If you want to do the seminars, you can. If you want to go swimming, you can. If you want to go to the beach, you can. You do what the fuck you want to do. This is your time. You're basically paying for the room and hanging out with us while you're doing it. Sundays, for the next 2 retreats, the one in June and one in August, we'll have an optional mini boudoir session that's hosted by Buff Bell and her husband. And that's optional. You don't have to do that shit either. You guys can come downstairs and fucking have breakfast with Peaches and I and just bullshit.
I'll more than likely be outside. I kind of want to do like a meditation thing in the morning.
Yeah. You go get you a big sound bowl. Boom.
I actually, since we're on the topic and we've been watching that show, I have been looking into crystal bowls for sound baths.
Yeah. Well, I had every
So-
intention of taking you on our next date day to a crystal store up there.
Yeah.
So we can absolutely go look at that. Anyways.
Okay.
And then as for the international retreats where we are going through Trova Trip, that is a planned itinerary. Thailand was planned. The entire thing was planned. We were able to get out of one of the things that was planned and go get tattooed.
Yeah.
Because the person that was our local guide was able to facilitate that, to make it happen. We had people that opted out for certain things, that didn't do the seminars, that were with us and did not go on certain aspects of what we were doing. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want. You're paying to be there.
Right.
So if you guys want to come to one of these retreats and do one of these things, by all means, come along. It's really a reason to hang out with us, and we do seminars. And if you don't want to do the seminar and you just want to fucking chill with us, come on, let's go.
Right.
But you guys can find all that information on tobebetter.com. I interrupted you a lot, or you were trying to go and I just kept talking. So
Yeah,
did I
every
cover
time
it all?
I thought you were done.
I was still going.
Still going, yeah.
Did I cover it all? I was trying to plug everything.
Yeah, I think you did.
Dope.
I was just going to add on, there's absolutely zero obligation to do anything you don't want to do.
No, you just have to be there if you want to go.
Right.
Yeah. Belle said that she would really like the two of you and all of the women at the couples retreats that we're hosting in June and August to cook breakfast together.
I think that we should do breakfast together Saturday morning and then Sunday night
Do a final dinner.
Do a dinner where all of the ladies cook, yeah.
She said,
Or
that,
if it's a gay couple and there's a
Whatever.
feminine man who enjoys being in the kitchen,
right?
let's go.
Yeah. She said that that's a really great way for women to connect and bond.
Yeah.
So, all right.
That's going to be a hard one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of my kitchen.
I am very much that woman. Continuing, regardless of what I'm processing through or going through or struggling with, I find something that helps, hits home, makes me feel seen and understood, or makes me understand myself and see myself a little better. So keep doing what you're doing. I just know there's thousands of people out there who find the exact same phone a best friend feeling from all of the To Be Better content and the two of you investing your energy and time into this. And it's rippling into the universe, rivers and lakes and oceans wide already from everyone who's getting better and healing more and showing up as their better partners and parents. Who will start out as great parents and partners with tools they never got from their parents, and so on and so forth.
That's the goal. Bringing real change.
I think you both bring to the table the parents some of us never had, or even the parts that our pretty okay parents missed. For whatever reason, my kids get to be a part of that group now. I was a pretty okay parent, primarily because of the circumstances outside my control at some points in their lives. And because I had them at 17, 19, and 21. And also because I made my set of young and dumb and full of... ...
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh. JK Wizards, please don't delete me. I kid. It's an appreciation email, so I wanted to make a little jokey joke. Part of the reason my kids had a pretty okay parent was because I made my own set of stupid mistakes that most people make ages 16 to 25 at some point or another. And I had my traumas that I collected from those experiences like most people. Problem is, my babies had to come through all of that with me. And man, now they are 19, 22, and 23. And they are the most incredible humans I know, and they are genuinely good people. Not perfect, but they have their mother's fierce and loyal heart, and they are genuine and kind humans. So I know I was pretty okay as a parent, because I see who they grew up to be, and I see how they interact with the world, how their employers speak of them, and how the people in their outer circles see all the wonderful things in each of them that I see. Sort of like, it's not just a face only a mother could love kind of vibe. My kids really are the people I raised them to be and encouraged them to become. I always loved them with all that I had, even when I made my own young, stupid choices. Being a parent does not come with a manual.
No.
Right? There are books out there, What to Expect When You're Expecting was one that I was gifted with my first pregnancy. And, there's a host and a wealth of books
Just
out
making
there.
words up over there.
I am. I'm
Okay.
just smashing them
Trying
together.
to be efficient with my speech.
Yeah.
Didn't need both of those words, so I just made one.
Right. Those books can't prepare you for the things that are individual to your life.
No.
And being young and having children, my gosh, I was in my early 20s when I had my kids. I made stupid, young, dumb decisions. I was still a child myself. The human brain isn't fully developed until the age of 25.
Yeah.
And even then, your spirit's still growing and learning. You keep looking at your watch. Am I talking too
Because
much?
my phone keeps fucking going nuts over here. And some of it's good.
Yeah.
Some of it's tattoo shop shit.
Gotcha.
So.
I don't remember where I was going with that, so I'm just going to start reading.
Okay. I scrolled, so that's
Okay.
right where you're at.
So I got to be a pretty okay parent from some things outside of my control, and then those are the ones that were in my control. But I was also young and growing up still. I can say that about myself now because of the accountability. Because of the accountability I found on a deeper level when I found To Be Better. Now I can say I am a great mom, and I am becoming an even better one because of the healing I found for myself and the way I've been able to work with each of my kids to heal what traumas I created in them through direct or indirect fault. The fact that The fact came down to I hurt them and that I will always be their mother no matter how old I am. And I choose to be their mother. I love that.
I do too. Before you move on, I want to touch on that. I came to my mom at one point about a lot of the things that happened in my life, and she looked me in my face and told me that this shit didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or she changed the situation, denied it or changed it or whatever, right? And there's a part of you when that happens that makes you feel crazy. And then my cousin heard it all, and he's like, "No, I remember all that, dude. That absolutely happened."
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. But when it comes down to having your kids tell you like, "Hey, this happened when I was younger and it really fucked me up," don't make excuses. Don't try to like, "Holy shit, JD Delay's in our chat. What's up, dude?" I sent you a text message not too long ago. Never heard back from you. I hope you're thriving, man. That's funny.
Bane sleeping. This is how he sleeps. He literally is his dad.
Yeah, he's definitely my dog. But to have somebody, your kids come to you and tell you that you did something that hurt them, don't try to downplay it. Don't try to excuse the behavior. Just listen to them and then apologize. I'm really sorry that happened. I'm really sorry that those were my actions. And like, if I would have known better, if I would have had the tools that I had now, I wouldn't have behaved that way. I'm really sorry that happened, and leave it the fuck alone. Because it's not a matter of them attacking you or telling you that you're a piece of shit parent. They're letting you know that they have trauma or they're hurt. Don't fucking add to that.
Right.
Just accept that what happened, and you know what I mean? Like, let them go. Let it go. I don't know. Shit's wild to me.
Yeah.
I want to do an episode with him.
Who?
JD Delay. Either on his podcast or him on our podcast. We talked about it in the beginning, and then he blew the fuck up on YouTube. Now he's got millions of followers. So
yeah, that's
dope.
Know.
We'll see. Would love to see that happen, but I don't remember where we were.
They didn't ask to have me as their mother, as I'm learning the life skills I wasn't taught, like emotional regulation, realizing that I've spent my whole life people-pleasing and now have no boundaries, so I have to learn those and so on. I'm getting to pass them on to my adult children as they need them when they go through hard experiences. So maybe I don't get to give them all the tools or completely finish the toolbox I always really wanted to set them up with in perfect world. I still get the chance to add those tools now and show them how to use them to work through whatever they are going through. I've learned how to be both a great mom and the just right amount of support that allows for growth mom at the same time, and apply those things simultaneously when each of my kids has needed it. All because of the growth that I have found in my time of being a part of the To Be Better Family Healing Network community. I'm seeing the changes in real time finally in my life, and the hard work is paying off. For me, it just keeps me motivated and excited to continue to grow. And you both empower and inspire that.
Before we move on, he said that he'd still love to do a collab, that he's a huge fan of us. Dude, I stopped reaching out to you because I thought I was being annoying. Because I sent a message on TikTok and I sent a text message and didn't hear back. And I'm like, all right, he's over my shit. Like, I'm not going to keep trying. So definitely reach out when you have the time to talk, man. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I love that he's in here talking to our fan base. That's fucking awesome to me.
I think it's silly that you think you're a burden to people.
I feel that way about everyone. If I send 2 text messages and don't hear back, you'll never hear from me again. Because that's abuse. That is my self-worth. I'm worried about that with everything. I do that shit still with Tim. I'm like, hey man, I know I'm fucking annoying. He's been my best friend for 20 years. Sean, same thing. Well, Sean's a little different. I'll annoy the fuck out of Sean. I'll show up at his house. Like, but we have that type of relationship. So
yeah.
Yep. You're very good at calling me on that when it's happening too. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're a dope human being.
Yeah. Some days I think so.
I think most days you are. I think that you have a lot of things that you're still working on and trying to overcome, but that doesn't negate that you're a dope person.
I appreciate that. We have a super chat. And it says, how much effort do you think should be put into a proposal? Obviously, some effort is needed. I understand. I just find it incredibly hard to find a sitter for our kids, and I may just do it at our home. Thank you. Don't do that. Make it special. Make it memorable. However that's got to be. You can plan to take her to Jekyll Island and stay in a villa that has a porch that goes right onto the sand and have everything planned out. And then a week before you go, she could have a meltdown on the couch, and you just have to give her the ring to let her know you're not leaving. It's memorable as fuck, though.
It is memorable. Definitely will not forget that day.
Yeah.
I have it saved in our calendar.
Do you?
The day we got engaged, yeah.
That's funny. He said you are both dope human beings.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, continuing.
Yep. Hey, wait, before we continue, if any of you ever want to like see us in public, or you run into us and you're with your partner and you've been thinking about engaging, do it then while we're standing there.
Oh, I'll hype that shit up.
Right? I'll stop everybody.
Everyone back up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Homie speaking. Like, yep.
I'll shut down Walmart.
Yeah, they'll never forget that shit.
I don't want to hear one grocery beep.
Yeah,
I'm at the checkout line.
I'm getting a trespassing charge. Like, they don't want this motherfucker in this building anymore. Let's go.
Yo.
Yep. That's funny.
Everyone's on hold for the next 30 seconds.
It's funny. Ugh.
All right, continuing. The two of you are truly helping heal the masses, drops at a time with everything you do. All because you worked hard for yourselves and together and for each other, and then share it so others can do the same. It's no coincidence that a community started to grow quickly, and then a network of healing and growing got started the more time went on, and you found your groove and also healed and did your own growth. And you've both done a lot of that with an audience. And that is so brave, and it's also inspiring.
And fucking hard.
Oh
my
gosh,
God, is it hard. You, I know we keep side railing, and we're more than, I don't think we're going to record anything else today because it's 12:30. So getting episodes done today is not going to happen. But we had a lot of ugly in the first year of this, and there's still a lot of ugly that comes up, but we've learned to navigate it a whole lot differently.
We've also learned that, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did. Because I don't want to forget this. We've also learned that people saying shit has zero impact on our life.
Right.
We have impact on our life.
Right. And that was a big one because at one point we thought it was going to destroy what we were trying to build.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of ugly that comes with it. Some people just ain't going to like coffee. That's all it comes down to. And that's okay because some of us like tea. Fuck off. But the idea that like, so now what I was going to say is now we're in a position where we are seeing somebody else go through the trials that we went through as we were coming up and the ugly that's coming through it. And it's wrecking them.
Yeah.
And it made me realize how much it wrecked us in the beginning, but how much we've overcome and all of that. And the ugly doesn't phase us like it did in the beginning. It was a lot. It was a fucking lot in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Something that I told myself a lot at the beginning was that we as human beings were never meant to know more than a few hundred people.
Absolutely.
And now due to the internet access and everyone having a phone, a tablet, or a computer, not everyone, a vast majority, millions upon billions of people have access to the internet. We are now being seen and judged by billions of eyes.
Right. Right.
And that opens us up to, of course, more appreciation, love, and all of the great things. But it also opens up to the hate and the negativity. So what would go from, 30 people in my life don't like me to
30,000.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yep. It is. It's hard. It's hard.
Continuing.
Sure.
I have become a better person, wife, mother, partner, and the woman I want to be in the year that I have found the To Be Better network. Then I had managed to become working alone with all of my broken pieces. Oh, excuse me. I believe that's because you both have given me guidance and tools that I was missing to be able to do the repairs that I had at my feet. I have found the absolute most self-growth here, and I look forward to how I continue to grow and watch the seeds I'm planting bloom into flowers as I water them and care for them over the next year. I joined the women's group this past month, and it is the absolute perfect landing zone for my next level up in growth, as though it was part of my divinely guided path all along. And I do believe it to be so. I have found that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be at the time I arrived. So many, many thanks to you both. I have the utmost respect for a handful of people. My in-laws, who have an incredible story, It's absolutely beautiful. Maybe that's another email for another time. But I digress. My grandmothers, the two of you. It is because of the level of authentically best selves you both work hard to show up as every day for yourselves, for each other, and for your family that shines through. And I have so much respect for you guys. It's sincerity and honesty, even when it's brutal, or sounds brutal, rather. Because y'all are rarely ever actually being brutally anything. You both hold a good balance of the cold, hard truth wrapped in some level of love. You each are truly beautiful and amazing humans.
Wish more people understood that.
Yeah, me too.
Because, you know, I know that I'm harsh. I know that I'm very matter of the fact spoken, but I'm blue collar. I don't have time to sugarcoat things. There's,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, there's things that need to get done, and having a 45-minute conversation to say something that can be said in 2 sentences, I'm just going to say the 2 sentences.
Right.
You now have 45 minutes to figure that shit out. I have other things to do. You know, so like, I understand how I can come across as brash and I'm harsh, but I can't say never, because there have been times on the podcast where I have been legitimately fucking angry at the emailer. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I never approach those from a fuck you standpoint. Like, even when I'm frustrated like that, that's not the case. And normally my frustration is not the emailers, the people that they're writing about.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The surrounding circumstances.
Yep. Lots of feel goods today. Today's a good day. Move to emails. Boom. That one's been read too. Dope. Got a super chat. Lemon said, I would like to send y'all something in the mail. What are some boundaries for that? What are some things y'all like? Well, everything goes to our post office box. You can find that email address on the website.
It's not an email address, it's a post office
Office box. Did I say email?
Yeah, you said you can find the email address.
Yeah, you can find the actual physical snail mail address on the website. I don't do knick-knacky shit. So don't send me knickknacks. She does. She'll take whatever. She's some little tiny rocks, glass of sand, a feather. Like, Peaches likes all kinds of random stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want clutter. So can never go wrong sending me whiskey. I don't drink anymore, but I collect it still.
Yeah, I like crystals and rocks. Yeah, feathers would be dope.
Eagle feathers.
Yeah.
An authentic eagle feather would be
I
dope.
would do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Dirt. I like dirt.
You do.
Label it. Let me know where it's from. Yeah.
That's funny.
You can stick rocks or something in it. I like dried leaves and flowers.
Somebody sent you a really cool collage book. Is that what that's called? That book that had all kinds of shit written in it and stuck in there.
Yeah.
And what do they call that?
My mind's drawing a blank.
Mine too. That's why I called it a collage book.
Yeah, it's a I can't remember.
Abby said she's gonna send you a pine cone.
I love that. I look at a pine cone every time I start my Bronco.
Yeah, you have one. Yeah. First time I got in your car and I saw a fucking pine cone in your console, I'm like, what is that? Guys, when I tell you that she keeps dirt and shit in her car that does not get cleaned up, I mean it. There's fucking rocks and pine cones and feathers, and
they mean something to me.
That shit's so funny.
Yeah, I have like 5 or 6 blue heron feathers stuck up in the dashboard of my
junk
Bronco.
journal.
Junk journal.
Junk
yes.
journal. Smash book, scrapbook. Oh, dude, everybody's just naming shit. I don't fucking know.
It works.
RJ is in the chat and said hello. I saw it earlier, but she was reading.
Hello.
He wrote, I'll forever be thankful for coming across you guys. The impact on my life will reverberate until the end of my days. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Madison said, I sell crystals and other cool things. I'll have to send you something sometime, Peach. My husband and I are both artists. He mostly does leather working. Love that shit. If you guys are business owners and you're sending a product to us, put a business card in there.
Yes, include socials where people can reach you, where they can find you.
Right. We open that shit on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be honest, if you're already making this shit, that is the cheapest fucking advertisement you will ever get. We open our packages. It may be on a live stream. It may be on a Patreon live, but like it does get seen by other people. So we actually, Jenna tagged us in a thing for a neon company that reached out to her husband about making a neon because he has a small channel.
Yeah.
And she's like, he didn't want to do it. And I reached out and I was like, hey, can you make us a neon? Like, we have a huge following.
Right.
And they're going to make a neon so that when we move this, excuse me, when we move this into the studio, there'll be a neon in there, that actual neon and not a cheap little LED light
that's
like
dope.
we have. So, yeah. Yep.
I would love more bread, Abby.
Zenergy said, I have a jar of playa from Burning Man. I don't know what that is, but all I can hear is popcorn playa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to request some of the jalapeno cheddar bread. That one was my favorite. Thank you.
It won't be the same without Jenny's fucking spinach dip. When I asked for spinach dip, I thought she was going to buy a little box of Knorr and like quickly throw something together. And I look over and she's got a giant thing of spinach and she's fucking chopping spinach. I'm like, this is not what I thought was going to happen. I'm grateful for it.
Right.
This is one of the things that I was like, don't throw that away.
Yeah. Zach's stuffed mushrooms were one of my favorite things
Yeah.
that night. Yeah.
I hate that they live so far away.
Me too.
Yep. Amanda said, I can't say beneficial anymore. I actually catch myself saying beneficial quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Jay said, you guys should be receiving a book from Krista and I Friday.
Very excited for that.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Jay, I know that you work predominantly East Coast and you live on the West Coast. I'm just saying, dude, if you ever wanted to move over to this side of the country, that would be really great because I could use some more real life friends. I'm just saying.
The things that we could do.
Right? Go open businesses together. Could go fucking camping. Could go overlanding. You guys are outdoorsy people too. Could travel. Those jalapeno poppers, though. I fucking ate those cold.
Yeah, you did. I made some of them the other day.
They're so good.
I was craving the jalapeno poppers.
Got the kids to try them.
Yeah, the kids tried them. Our son ate half of one. Our daughter ate the toppings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. All right, guys, this went on for almost 2 hours, so we're going to wrap up. We are not going to record anymore today. We're just going to take a down day for the rest of the week. And then maybe this weekend when we have some free times, we'll do some other content. We just got another super chat that says, have you started To Be Better Dating yet? Nope, we won't. We are not ever going to create a dating app or be the facilitators of other people's relationships. We do not want to be responsible for that in any way, shape, or form.
Do I think I could do matchmaking? Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't want to be responsible for it.
Right. That would be a lot of like, you would have to be in town. I have to see you once a week, gain who you are as a person.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Amanda, well, we'll get into that later. So we're going to wrap up, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody that's been here for the last couple hours. We appreciate you being here. And we'll probably be doing some lives later this week, but today we're taking the day off. So
yes.
With that being said, guys, have a good day. And I got to pull up the other screen and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.